Here, right. There's a nasty fly here in my office, so if it's possible that you will be witnessing murder in the office here later this afternoon, apologize up front. If that happens, sometimes things just have to be done. Yeah, welcome everybody. So let's see what we have today. We have a bunch of journals, of course, as usual, and then we have Tony talking about he said it, but I forgot. Well, I think it was Power Surge. I could be wrong. Anyway, let's just see where we get here. So for your information, this is the last coaching session for this series number 16. So we will be continuing, of course, into next month. However, Monday is a holiday in the USA. It's actually July 4th is being celebrated on July 5th or whatever. So the markets will be closed. So there will be no session on Monday. We will start the next series on Wednesday, and at some point we will make up for that extra class, of course. I don't know exactly when we're going to do that. Probably on a Friday when we know that there is no other session being made up, like Kickstarter, Sellstart, whatever. So we'll keep you posted on that. Okay. So anybody who will be with us next month as well, your membership should be extended automatically unless you have told accounting that you want to cancel. Okay. So if your membership is extended automatically, you will be charged $75 for the next month, which I think is a bargain. But of course, ultimately, that's up to you to decide. Later today, as a matter of fact, okay, Patty says we're not leaving you until you kick us out. Lol, I like that. That's the right mentality, Patty. That's the right mentality. So, and Victoria, okay, you will be back in August. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Well, great. Very good. Just to see what you want to do, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So let's see what we have today. Oh yes, what I was going to say is that later today, as Tyler is reviewing journals, I will post an invitation for next month's coaching session in the equity group. And we were talking about asking you. You traders maybe for some feedback, some referrals, some testimonials, but actually it would be nicer and better, I think, if you just type under the invitation what you thought of the session. If you can say something like, I'm in the program and I enjoy it because of this and that, or I hate it because of this and that, I'm going to quit, I can't take it anymore, whatever you want to write there. We trust that it will be good. So in the Facebook group, the equity group, you should be a member of that, Edward. If you're not yet a member, look in your control center. There is a link there to sign up for the equity Facebook room. If you click there, then that should all be taken care of. Okay. So you can also, of course, send it to us if you prefer to do that. You can send a testimonial to us just using the coaching@ifintraders.com. email address. That's the other way to do it. But otherwise, if you just wait in the next 2 hours, I'll just put it on the top of the equity Facebook page, the invitation. You'll see it pop up there. If you would be so kind to comment there what you think about it, that would be much appreciated. Okay. All right. So what else? Okay, Edward is staying until the end as well. All right. Thank you. That's good. And Betty will turn the light off. That's always nice. Yeah, great. And Nias as well. Cool. Okay, so Marilyn is asking, is there a connection psychology-wise between my paper trading and simulation trading? I lose 80% in simulation and win 80% when I paper trade. That is a very interesting question, Marilyn. Now, of course, if you're really paper trading, let's say there is nothing at stake really, right? Basically, there is no emotions attached to it either. However, if you are in simulation trading, and I'm assuming by simulation trading what you mean is graduation program. Now there is something at stake because you want to do good, right? Because you want to graduate, and the emotions that come with that, although not always clear, but they are hidden deep inside of all of us. They can actually change your trading behavior to a point where you start losing where you were winning before. That is very well possible. Yeah. And even more so, if you go from a graduation account to a live account, you have the same problem, of course, to deal with. Because although it may look the same, of course, it is not, and you are aware of that. So psychology is really something that each trader should be working on. And I have been thinking for a while if I can do something, bring something up there on psychology. However, there is not really enough room in this program, in this coaching program, to do that. It's a very vast subject. There's a lot to be said about it. But it's in the back of my mind. Maybe somewhere in the second half of the year we can do something about that, because I think that could be very useful. There's quite a few things in the psychology area that really should be understood and known by each and every trader. And getting your psychology fixed or in order to trade well is a very essential thing to do, because basically there's like three things that you need to become a good trader, right? One is the first one is, of course, you need a method. You need some kind of method. The second thing you need is risk management. If you cannot control your risk and the way you put your capital at risk, then you will never get there. And the third one is psychology. You have to somehow get to a state of balance in yourself, where you can actually cope with the emotions that the trading will bring with you and will be able to not have it affect your trading. Okay, this is very big subject, so I'm not going to be able to do anything about that now. Maybe later this year sometime. Let's see what comes up. Okay. Also, I know that Dr. Dan gives a class on that once in a while. He did that last year, I think. I don't know if he has any plans of doing that again, but if he does, then it will definitely be announced, and I would recommend for all of you to sign up there, because it's an essential part of your trading, really. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Dr. Dan private coaching. Okay, he's doing it there, Paula. Oh, great. Okay, well, maybe if people want to sign up there, or that would definitely be a good idea. Okay. All right, so let me get started. Let's do some journals here. Let me get my Epic pen here. Yes, if anybody's interested, just send an email to Dr. Dan, and I'm sure that he will respond to you, as he always does. Okay. Okay, so first trade here is by Ali. Ali is not here today as far as I can see. Okay, it's unfortunate, but okay, let's see what he has. Ali is trading here CRM. He's trading CRM, and he marks the Fab 4 here for us, points out that his max loss per trade is $200. Excuse me. $200, and then let's see what happens. This trade goes up here. I mean, it starts rallying, right? And wow, look at that. This is a $250 stock. Well, he's not into cheap stocks, that's for sure. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big green candles here. 6 actually up here, and then it starts to pull back here. After a $4 to $5 rally here, it's pulling back. And then Ali identifies what he calls a red bar takeout of small bottoming. Tail bar, I guess this means after a healthy pullback. Okay, let's see, healthy pullback. Yes, definitely, because we have like, it stays very well in the upper 50% range, right? That is a healthy pullback. Also, what we have here is is no violence in the pullback. This is looking okay, right? So it comes back here, and then he says, so red bar takeout. Well, I do not see a red bar takeout here. I mean, I think what I know what he means is that this tiny bar is being taken out here, right? Am I looking at the right? Yes, right. Tiny bar being taken out here. Okay. I know it's all semantics and terminology, but still, there is. It's important to distinguish between different kinds of events. Now, a red bar takeout is really like a solid red bar, okay, being taken out by several smaller bars, maybe going up and down a bit. It doesn't really matter what's going on here. Something like this, right? For example, something like this could be a red bar takeout. So you need like a solid red bar for that, not a tiny red bar. That is not a red bar takeout. This is in my book, this is a narrow range bar, really. It's just a tiny little bar, very tiny, and it's being taken out, right, by a green bar. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. Well, something like this. So this is very different. This is like a narrow range bar, and this is a red bar takeout. Okay. So the size of these bars is totally different, but also the message that they're sending is totally different. Here, actually, there's something going on. The market is producing a fat red bar. What do we expect after a fat red bar? Follow through, right? Well, there is no follow through to this bar. Actually, it's being eroded, eliminated in time, right? In a narrow range bar, there's no such thing. This is not a matter of no follow through. It's just an anonymous little small bar, whatever. It could even be green. It doesn't matter what kind of bar it is, right? This is more like a low risk play. This is a totally different kind of play, okay? And that is what he's really taking here, a low risk play. So this is a narrow range bar, as far as I'm concerned. And again, ultimately, it doesn't really matter what you call these things, of course, but the reason why I'm hammering on it is because these different events, they send a totally different message about what the market is doing, right? So low risk, meaning Gurmeet is asking, which is low risk? The NRB. This is the narrow range bar. Narrow range, already the name says it. It's small, right? This is a tiny little bar, irrelevant bar, okay? That's a low risk. This is always a low risk play. A narrow range bar play is always a low risk play. Okay, this one is not. This is not a low risk play. Okay, this is normal risk play. So in the low risk play, you can actually, it's the different kind of risk that you take. Which one has more chance of success? That's a difficult question, but I would say that the betting average of this one here is likely higher than this one. Okay, why? Because here there is actually no proof at all that the market is turning. You see that? There's just a tiny bar here, and that tiny bar is taken out. This is all you have, right? So your betting average will be lower, because here there is actually a sign that the market is turning. It's trying to go down. It fails to continue, and it goes all the way back. That suggests that we're back on the way to the upside here, right? Here, you don't know that. Maybe the next bar is like this. Easily, right? So on average, your betting average will be lower on the narrow range bar than it is on the red bar takeout. However, the reward here in terms of reward versus risk is much bigger here, because this tiny bar, you can have like a 10 times rise here easily, right? That could very well happen. Here, 10 times rise is highly unlikely. Here you will likely only maybe get 2-3 times the risk. If this is your risk unit base, if you see this as your risk unit, right? So you will easily, you may be able to make like once, twice the risk unit, maybe 3 times the risk unit. That will be it, right? However, on a low risk play, you may be able to make 10 times the risk unit. So you have more frequent stop outs, but your risk reward is much higher on an NRB play. Does that make sense? So what this really comes down to, I don't want to digress too much about this, but briefly, what this really comes down to is that this is a matter of style also. These are two different trading styles. Either you can play like the bigger events and with a higher risk, but probably with also a higher betting average, okay? Or maybe you don't like that. And some traders actually focus on playing these tiny events, and they accept that they are being stopped out more frequently, but they know that every time that they are right, that they can make 5 to 10 times their profits. You see? So this is something you have to ultimately figure out for yourself, which one suits you best, and master it. Okay. So what means saying, so in the situation when you are already in the trade and adding on a pivot, can we add lots of lots due to the low risk and on NRB? Of course, depending on how much dollar risk you are actually adding to the trade. So if this is a 10-cent bar, for example, suppose this were a 10-cent bar here, okay? And you want to start a trade here, and your average risk on the trade is $100, okay? Well, you can buy 10 lots here, no problem. You can do that. You'll be stopped out, you lose $100. Try again, stopped out again, you lose another $100, okay? Try again. Third time you hit the jackpot, it goes up 6 times here, you make $600. So you lost 200 on 2 trades. You subtract that from the $600 profit on the third trade. That is the way you make money in this low risk countries. It's a totally different style, okay? All right. Now, sorry for cutting this short. I can talk about this for hours, but we have to get some work done here. So he decides to go long on this narrow range bar play here. And that is a great idea. Why? Because first of all, we have the rising MA20 here, right? Second, what we have here is roughly 50% here, right? Roughly. So we have a strong surge, a pullback to the rising MA20 to approximately 50% here. So this is a great location for a trade. Absolutely. So why not give it a shot? If you want to trade a narrow range bar here with a low risk and a potentially high reward, location is absolutely key. And this is a great location for that. So he tries, right? So he puts his stop here under 245.50. Yeah, why? You could also put the stop here 1 penny below. This is the other point. Look, by putting it this low, this what was a low risk entry here is now almost double the risk because he's not putting the stop 1 penny below, right? This is an important lesson. Never compromise in your trading. Either you go all the way meaning you give a lot of room to the trade, you give everything you have, or you go tight, but don't go in between, because this is like in between, right? He doesn't want to go really tight, but at the same time, he doesn't really want to give it all he has, right? So he puts a stop somewhere in the middle. If you do that, you always get the worst of two worlds, because your trades here, your small risk trades, are going to lose twice as much as they should, right? And these trades that need this room are going to be stopped out with a loss here before they bounce, right? So either play it this way or play it this way. Do not go in between. Do not compromise. It doesn't work in trading, okay? Wow, that was another sidestep. I'm digressing too much today. I'm sorry. But still, I think it's good information. It's something to think about it, okay? This is really a problem. Okay, so he's in the trade here, and then he says, question, was this a proper add despite the flattening 20 MA? Absolutely, you're in the trade. You could have actually added here as well, okay? Because we're still in the scenario of trying to go for a new high, right? So it just didn't work. He gets stopped out eventually here. Well, that happens. That is the risk of any trade, and especially of a narrow range bar trade, a low risk trade. On a low risk trade, you will be stopped out more frequently, okay? But still, this was a good play. The location is perfect. 50%, rising MA20, beautiful. Surge up, pull back here. great shot. Give it a shot. Try it. Go for it. If you win, if you get, suppose he got here, right? Which would, nobody would have been surprised if it made that new high, right? Now look at it. He would have made like five times the risk or so. So putting in $100, he would have made $500. Is that a good deal? I think so. All right. Okay. One thing I wanted to say about this was, what was it I wanted to say? Don't remember at this point. Okay, well, it probably was not very important if I can't remember it. So anyway, good trading, I think. Yeah, good trading. Oh, of course. This is a problem, right? This stock, and we mentioned that before, and I remember telling Ali this before, but so I'll just tell it once more, so maybe this time it makes more sense to him. Trading a stock that is this price $250 with a max loss per trade of $200 is a little bit of casino trading, because you cannot trade any of these bars. Look, this is a fantastic play here, this bar, right? That's maybe a little too early in. Let's see, these bars are pretty big. Let's say you want to play somewhere here, right? Now this bar has a size of, let's say your stop would be $150 on one lot here, right? On the first bar. That means with $200, you can only play one lot here. That's okay if that happens once every 5 trades. Okay, that's okay. That happens. You take it anyway. However, I'm guaranteeing you, if you do this on a $250 stock like this, you're going to find that in most cases you can only afford one lot. So that means that you have to skip all these entries here. You have to really wait for the tiny risk one. This is all you can do. Okay. So try to downsize on those stocks. This is really too expensive, in my opinion. Okay, Ali? All right, let's go to the next one here by Vladimir. Vladimir is in the room. Yes, hi, Vladimir. So, max loss per trade, $90 here. Okay, Fab4 here, trading LVS 2-minute, Fab4 here. Beautiful event here. Bull elephant bar, location plus, anticipatory entry. Event stop. Yes. Yes, I think that anticipatory entry is a bit late though. It would have been better if you could get in here or so at the latest, but okay. 2 lots long here. Then he says, I'm taking one off here because I have 2 pushes. Do you really have 2 pushes here? I don't really see that. I would say that this is like 1 push here. I can't make 2 pushes out of this, Vladimir. I don't see how you do that. So so I think this profit take is a little early. How is it from the dollar point of view? Well, let's say that you enter at 75 and your profit take is roughly at 95. So you take 20 cents profit here. Okay, borderline maybe. Okay, borderline. All right. So, stock pulls back here. Your stop is still here. Great job. And then you suddenly took the last lot a bit early, anticipated a full wipe. Yeah, we don't anticipate our stop outs, right? So the best thing would have been you just get stopped out here, and that happens. Okay, that happens. That's one of those trades that doesn't work. This is not a normal thing to happen for the stock to crash like this. That will happen. I mean, it happens more often these days because we're now in the summertime, right? And that means a lot of big capital is no longer out there. So stocks may start enthusiastically, but there is not much follow through, which is a good reason to tell yourself, instead of 3 pushes, I'll take profits on 2 pushes. Okay, that's a great thing to do right now. Because of that reason, because we're moving into July now. So so that's fine. However, this kind of failure is still something that is relatively rare, and you just have to accept that when it happens. Okay, So stop out here. Would have been better. This is not good. Okay, but you saw that as well. Of course, there is a warning here. These triple tails, right? You see triple tails here. This is not good. This is bad news. Okay, this is bad news for your trade. However, it doesn't mean that you have to do anything with that, except take notice. So maybe you want to write it down. Hey, I have three tails against me here. Okay, but it doesn't mean that you're going to close the trade. You just stay in the trade, because it doesn't mean that this thing is going to be stopped out here, as it did. It doesn't tell you that. It could also pull back here and then take off, or pull back and maybe go here. And you still get a chance to get out, right? Okay. Right. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at this at the first trade, Vladimir, if you don't mind, because we have a lot of work to do, and I want to give everybody a chance here. Okay. So let's take a look at Nia's trade here on Uber. And Nias is here. Yes. Oh yeah, he's one of the people that will switch the light off, right? Okay. Cool. All right. Uber, 25th of June, 2 minutes. Putting in here marking the Fab 4. Very nice. Max loss per trade, $75. Identifies a bottoming tail bar here. Okay. Anticipation entry. I like that because this is a clear tail bar. This thing flips to green. So at some point here, you have to get into this trade. Okay. Location is plus. Yes. And event stop. Perfect. Perfect. Only this entry seems a bit late to me. But then again, stock is not moving that much here. So, okay, fine. Step number 2, first RBI add. So what he does here, he sees here a hidden RBI, right? This stock dropped here, produced red. At some point there was red here in this bar. And then it flipped around, erased all the red, and flipped the color to green. So this is our hidden RBI here, okay? Hidden RBI in the trade. Adding one lot to the trade. Excellent. Very good. Failed to take some profits on top, as it were 3 pushes. Was it really 3 pushes? Let's take a look. From your first entry, right? From the perfect entry, which would be here, roughly, okay? 3 pushes seems a lot to me. 2 pushes, okay, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. 2 pushes, I'll buy, okay? Also, you have like 20 cents here on a $50 stock. So yes, I think taking one off here is a good thing to do. I would agree with that, Niels. I think that's a good thing to do, okay? And then the stock just crashes. I think we went over this trade before already. It looks familiar. Crash here. We don't do anything, of course. Our stop is still here. Excellent. Stop is still here. But this is like the first strike against us, right? Remember, 3 strikes, you're out. So it's the first strike against you. So now we get this GBI here, and it's not triggering. See, it's not triggering. What happens is a new attempt here to actually go up here. And it cannot make a new high. Instead, it falls back, producing a topping tail bar. This is bad news. So now we have 1 strike here. We have a second strike here against us, right? And then it triggers the RBI, the GBI here. This is like the 3rd strike. So I think I told this story before. Maybe I'm having a deja vu. I have no idea. But anyway, so the basic trader here that is practicing the checklist, okay, the master checklist, should stay in the trade here until being stopped out here, right? The more advanced trader who knows how to, it was your trade, Micah. Okay, see, it looks so familiar, yeah. So the more advanced trader who knows how to read the candlestick flow, the price flow, as pointed out by the candlesticks, and can actually identify these things here. First strike against you, second strike against you, failure, right? Third strike triggering the GBI, can actually get out here earlier. Okay. Gurmeet is asking, do you kill at 2 strikes or 3 strikes? I kill at 3 strikes. I'm not sure what other people do. I don't know, but this is the way I count. This is a personal rule of mine. This is the way I look at things. I try to find 3 things, 3 events that are really against me. 3 bad things, not tiny things, but 3 serious things, right? So that is the way I do this. Yeah. Ooh, Lawrence Lee. Would this be a stop and reverse? Not in the classic way, because there is some follow through here. There is no violence that knocks you off your feet. I mean, this would have been different. If this bar would have been like this is a different story, okay? If it wipes everything out here, takes away the entire reason for the trade, it's a different thing. That is not the case here. It is actually taking things out, but gradually, okay? It's somewhat violent here, but it's not knocking you off your feet. So not a classic stop and reverse. No, it's not. Gurmeet Singh is saying, is this the same as the 2-color stop rule? You mean my 3 strikes rule? Yes, actually the 2-color stop rule is a part of my 3 strikes rule. That's right. So in fact, what you see here, it usually, if there is a 3 strikes against you, there's also a two color. Look, you see here that in this case it's taking out green here. It's taking out green here. Actually, it's taking out 2 green bars here. So yeah, in a way, that's a 2-color rule. Yeah, but 2-color rule is a little bit of a vague concept. You know, it is very easy to apply that at the wrong moment. It's very easy to get out of a trade where you actually have no good reason to do so. So 2-color rule to me is not good enough. You see, personally, I don't use it that way. I will always look for a no follow through event to go with the 2-color stop before I think about using that. Okay. Anyway, too much digression again. What's important here is that Nias here is adding again on the pullback. That is not a good add, Nias, because look, you have this big bar here against you, right? Now what you need is distance from that bar. You need time, because this is damaged. This is really damaging. Look, it took out 2 bars here. See that? That bar took out 2 bars. This is a violent start at the top. It's a violent start of the pullback. So now you have to be cautious here. You have this strike against you, right? Strike against you, and you want to see how things develop before you take further action. This is a warning, okay? So you cannot add here. Wouldn't do that, okay? So once again, the right place to be stopped at is here for if you are beginning, mastering the checklist, and here if you are more advanced. Okay? Does that help? Hope this helps. You exceeded your max loss per trade. Okay, interesting. If you exceeded your max loss per trade, then what was your mistake here, Nias? You did something wrong then. What was the mistake? Yeah, the ad, you could not afford the ad. So there were 2 reasons why this was a bad ad. First of all, because the pullback starts violently and you need to wait for time away from the problem before you can start adding. Secondly, because you moved up your max loss per trade stop, and you can't do that. That stop is here for a reason. Okay? Okay, perfect. Next one. Next one is Greg on Morgan Stanley. And oh yeah, that was a nice one. Yeah, I saw that. I don't trade Morgan Stanley, so I didn't play this, but I saw it being discussed. Okay, so we have a fabulous 4 here. Okay, and then we see an excessive gap. This is important. This is gap trading, right? Gap trading. How do we deal with a gap? Well, this is a classic gap trade because we have an excessive gap. When is a gap excessive? Anybody an idea? When is a gap excessive? Triple plus, okay, fine. How do you know that you're in triple plus? That's the right answer, Carlos. Carlos gives the right answer. If a 50% drop, So from here, we open here, right? Now 50% is here roughly, right? So you look where the stock is opening. The stock is opening here. Okay, this is the open price. 50% to the FAB4 or to the MA200, whatever. 50%. If this is a home run, if you will high five someone when you make this money, if you go out there and look for someone to high five, then this is triple plus. That is the right way to deal with that. Okay. So ask yourself, if I make this profit, if this thing drops here from 91 all the way to 89.50, will I be so happy that I run out of my office looking for someone to high five? Okay? If that is the case, and that is the case because at $1.50 profit on the trade is a very nice profit, of course, on this trade, right? That would be huge. That would be really nice. So this is definitely meeting the high five rule, high five criteria. Okay? So this is definitely triple plus. That's the way to figure this out. Now, what are we going to do here? We're going, look what happens here. The first bar is actually, what is the first bar here? What would you call this bar? What do we call this bar? What's the name for this bar? Hybrid, okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, hybrid or bottoming tail bar. Okay, I think both are fine. So what do you expect after this bar? What does this bar suggest? If you just see this bar, what does it suggest? Follow through, continuation, absolutely. This is what it needs to do. Well, this is all it does here. See that? See that little blip there? That's all it does. Where does this fail? At what point do you say, wow, look, it failed to follow through? What is the right moment? Greg says confirmation. He enters below the tail here, right? I don't agree with that. Where does this bar fail? That's right. When the color is taken out, this is enough. This is the right moment to strike. This is where you strike, because if this bar has follow through, it should not take out the body. Why is this so important here? Well, look at what is the price here. What price is this that it's taking out here? What price is that? Why is that so special? Yeah, it's 91, but why is that important? Not because it's a round number. No, that's not what I'm talking about. No, I don't care about that. No, it doesn't matter. What is so special about the bottom of the body of that bar? What happens there when that's taken out? That's a very important. It's taking out the open price of the day. Remember? It opened there. Exactly, Paula. That's what happened. It opens here. So this is what's happening here. If we look into this bar, it opens here, right? It first goes down, it swings right up, and it crashes down below the opening price of the day. Okay, so if you had any doubts about shorting below the body here, then the fact that it's taking out the opening price again should be more than enough to win you over. Okay. Also, look, now you can actually afford double the size of lots here, right? Double the amount you can afford here, because now your risk is half. So instead of shorting 2 lots, you can now short 4 lots in this trade. Okay? More bang for the buck. Gurmeet is asking, can you do that even if the body is very small for that bottoming tail bar? Well, of course, you need to somewhere. Look, Gurmeet, the point is you need to be convinced that it's a failure, right? So if this is a few pennies, then it may just wiggle around there and take that body out for you, right? That is not a good thing. You will probably want to wait then for like halfway or so, for example. It depends on the situation. This is a very excessive gap here. This is huge. This thing's very far away. Okay, what do you think? Everybody who was buying here yesterday, right? They all were buying here. And now the market opens, they wake up and they see this price. What are they doing? What would you do if you were buying here yesterday and now the market opens here? What would you be doing? Of course, get the heck out. get those profits and go to the beach, right? That's what you want to do here. And so the fact that this thing is hesitating here at this height here tells you that absolutely this is the short is here below the body. Okay. All right. Enough about that. So this should be actually an anticipatory entry. That would be better. Okay. Okay. So this is very good. He lightens up the position here because now he realizes that he miscalculated the risk. Okay. The risk on this trade is too big. Supposed to take only $80 risk here, and in fact, what do we have here? We have like roughly 70, and the stop has to be above here, right? Roughly 70. It's like $1, right? This is actually $1. Yeah, 91.70, 90.70. Yeah, roughly $1. Okay, so $1 means that with one lot we're already risking $100 in this trade. Okay. We can only afford 80. So closing one lot here is actually not enough, Greg. You should have closed both lots here. You should have gotten out entirely. Wouldn't you agree? You're trading outside of your risk parameters. So, but anyway, had you shorted here, then you would have been able to afford one lot, I think. Not two, because that would be still more than 100. This is really the problem here. That in this case you can only afford one lot. Okay, no problem. So going down here, and then you cover here. And why are you covering here? It's I know why you're covering here, but maybe it's a good thing if you mention that in your journal here. If you trade an excessive gap here, where do you cover? What is your target? Usually. Yes, that's right. It's usually the 50%, right? That's the 50% thing. Exactly. So you get in here and you throw an order immediately, like not exactly 50%, always a little higher, right? You never should go for the bottom here because you may miss it. It may just take off without you covering your lot here. Okay. Another thing is if you have two lots here, you may also want to cover some at maybe 35, 40%. Okay, just a little earlier. Okay. Great cover here, Greg. Excellent. Very good. Very well done. But remember to see if this kind of failure. This is like a topping tail bar takeout, right? But this body is so important that the fact that it goes is the end. This is the proper place to put all in that you have, which in your case would only be one lot, unfortunately. Because, okay, but that happens. Okay.
Hey, good job.
Great. Then let's take a look. Yeah, great. Good job. Absolutely, Gregory. Gurmeet is asking, can we take a long at GBR at exit? Take a long here. Well, what is the problem with that long, Gurmeet? What is the problem with that? Not SRE. This is the problem with that. Wait. Oh, not sure. Okay, this is all red bars, right? So if you're going long here, you're basically going long against this violent drop here. This is a big drop, right? So going long here immediately is probably not a very smart thing to do. You want to see some distance here, okay? So what you could do, for example, is wait and maybe try something here. Because here it's starting to look better. Why is this a great place to give it a shot? Why is this a great place to give it a shot on the long side? This is too early, right? I think this is clear, right? This is too early. This is still too early for me. But here is a great opportunity. There's several reasons for this. CBS at 20 MA. No, there's no 20 MA. The 20 MA is here, not here. That's the MA8. It's clearing. Nah, high or low? No, not really. Michael. Yes, and Betty. Look, it's taking out 2 RBIs here. This is the first one, and there's the second one, right? So 2 times red tries to resume the decline, and it fails to do so. That's one reason. This is one reason why you can give it a shot here. What is the second reason? The second important reason here. Distance. Distance from what? For long? No, I don't see distance, no. 8MA retest? Wow, yeah, well, I don't even have the 8MA on my chart, so I won't see that. Rising 20, no, the rising 20 is far away, right? It's all the way here. No. Remember I told you there are 3 things that make a trader successful in the end. One is a method, right? Now this is your method. Entering here, 2 times red, ignored twice, okay? And your position is okay, right? The second thing was, does anybody remember? Did anybody write this down? Number 1 is a method. Number 2, well, let me tell you, number 3 is psychology, right? Okay, risk, exactly. The risk is small. You see that? The risk is very small here. Give it a shot. Give it a shot, because if it does rally like it did, you can make maybe 3, 4, 5 times the risk from this trade. See that? If you get stopped out here, you lose like, how much is this? 20 cents per lot? So take 2 lots here. You lose $40 if you're wrong. But you can make maybe $150 if you're right. $100, $150. See that? That is the reason why this is a great entry here. Okay? All right. Yeah, next one here is the same trade. This time it is traded by Ali. And this is why I put it here, because let's see how Ali did it. Ali is also looking at 50% here. He takes the top of the Fab4 and he takes the entry price. See that? He takes 50% here. And then he says, look, it's losing that entry price here, the open price. Sorry, it's losing the open price. The body is lost. So actually he does use anticipation. He calls it confirmation, but this is really anticipation actually, because you're not waiting for this bar to be taken out. This is confirmation. This is anticipation, okay? Position triple plus, we saw that already. Actually, it's a bear 180. That's right. It's just a bear 180 if you take away the tail, if you ignore the tail, okay? Stop event, yes. So if you play this kind of excessive gaps, always the stop high of day. There we go. He covers here and he asks, what is the best way to determine the target in this situation? Well, actually, you kind of have it in your chart here, like 50% or perhaps 35%, like here. Got to see a little bit how that works out. This gap is pretty big, okay? If it's really that big, you should really think if it will really make it to 50%. That's a big distance for the stock to drop, right? So 35% is probably much more likely here. If you have 2 lots, what you do here is you throw one profit take order at 35% and you throw one at 50%. Okay, in this case, the 35% would have been hit here, and then you see this thing turn. Now here, oh yeah, wait a minute. What do we have here again? What do we have here again? We have basically like a no follow through here, right? We have 1 red taken out. We have 2 reds taken out. We have 3 strikes, you're out, right? 3 strikes, you're out. There you are. So that you cover your last lot here. You could have gone to 50%, it didn't. Well, then you get out here. You still have a nice profit. Okay?
Hey, good job.
All right.
Hey, good job.
I think that was well covered. Let's take a look here at Micah's trade. And this is eBay. And eBay, and we have here the MA200, and then we have the congestion zone here. That's right. So, and this is a nice amount of data for the congestion zone. This is nice. It's about an hour of data. So now we can really see here. Right, what's roughly going on here, and this is clearly the congestion. Okay, so we have Fab 4 here. Identifying a bottoming tail bar. There it is. Here is the bottoming tail bar. And the position is plus. Absolutely. We're just above the Fab 4. We enter by confirmation. Well, you're entering in the bar here, so it's actually anticipation, right? If you enter in the second bar, it is anticipation, confirmation, sorry, above the high. But here you're still entering in the same bar, Mike. So technically speaking, it is anticipation because you did not wait for the bar to complete, okay? 2 lots long here. All right, let's take a quick look at the risk here. The risk is roughly, let's say you get in at 20. And let's say that your stop is roughly at 80. So that means you have like 40 cents here per lot times 2 is $80 risk in the trade. And let's see, where's your max loss per trade? Where is your max loss per trade? Is it in the chart? I don't see it. What is your max loss per trade, Mike? 90, perfect, because $80 is less than $90, so risk management, perfect. Okay, next step, missed an ad on the RBI. I like the identification, this is perfect. However, you could not add here anymore because you have already $80 into the trade. And well, maybe with the stop here, you could just go to $90 maybe. You could have just made it, yeah, just made it. Okay. But yes, this is an ad, absolutely. We ignore the tail. And long tails in these cases, long tails against you that go in the wrong direction, just ignore them. Okay, long tail against you, ignore them. So this one you ignore. Okay, green here, green bar here. Then we have an ad here on the first pullback. Pullback, okay. So above this bar, ad, okay, fine. However, question. Where is the stop? Because the stop is still here, right? So if you're using the same stop, now you're clearly over your max loss per trade. So how did you solve that somehow? You forgot, okay. All right, what you could have done here again is you could use a separate stop for your ad. So in this case, you could have a stop here for the ad. Would that help you out? Let's say you get in at 22.07, 15 cents. Now you would still have a 15-cent risk added to your trade, which is like $95, and you're over 90. So you cannot really do this ad. Okay. Okay. So then, profit take on the new high. Very good. Check. There's your new high. Here's your whale, right? There's the whale. So, profit take on the new high. Do I have the right to sell 1 or 2 lots? That's a good question. So, on the new high, let's put it this way. If you take profits in the first leg, so here's a whale, right? You take profits in the first leg here somewhere from 2 or 3 pushes, never take more than 50%. At least that's the rule I use, okay? So if you have 3 lots here, you take 1 off. If you have 2 lots, you take 1 off. If you have 4 lots, you can take 2 off if you want, okay? But not 3. If you have 3 lots, do not take 2 off. Because remember, this is what you're after. You're not after the gain here, you're after the gain here on the new high, right? So, in this case, however, when you get to the new high, mission completed. You're done. Whale complete. That's what you were after, a whale, right? You catch the whale here. So now you can take off 2 and keep 1 in the trade and see how far it goes. Okay? So in this case, it would probably be better to just take 2 off and stay in the trade with 1 lot here. And then, for example, use a moving average stop to see where it goes, or just leave the stop, for example, below this bar, and you will be stopped out. Okay? Anyway, Michael is saying, could you move the pivot knowing you are going to exit if that gets taken out? Well, anyway, the fact that you get, the fact that you get here, let's say above this red bar, for example, here is probably a great reason to move the stop to the pivot. Okay, so this move of the stop at 4 seems a little late to me. Okay, it would be better to do it here, because if you say this is my pullback and you're adding here, then this is your pivot, right? So 80% is what we usually use, like minimum 80% before we adjust the stop here. In this case, you can also look at a bar. It's even nicer if you look at the point where the market has actually accomplished something. Like here, it takes out this red bar here. Okay, well, that is for me a reason to move the stop here to the pivot now. Okay. All right, so you can leave it there too. Here we go, and then take profit because in doubt of the previous one. Okay, yeah, right. I see that. So you basically, if you had taken 2 here, you would only have 1 left here, and you would probably go out bar by bar here, right? If you're still in the trade here, then you would, this is a power trend, yeah, so you're using the MA8. And you actually were still in the trade here, okay. Stopped out. Very good, yeah, very good. However, only thing here is that this trade is not working. This trade is not really working for you, because look, it starts fantastically, right? And now it goes up a bit. It doesn't give you 2 or 3 pushes here. That's okay. No, that's okay. Now it barely makes the new high, and it falls right back there, and it goes chopping sideways, right? This is not the kind of trade that will make you rich. You can say that. You can see that right away. So do you really want to stay in this trade here? Okay. So you have the right, after whale complete, you have the right to do what you want, basically. So you can, a good thing to do usually is to just use a moving average to trail out your last lot and see where it brings you. So you could be using the MA8 here, and you would have been stopped out here, okay? Or you can adjust the stop and put it to bar by bar, for example. That's another option. And just bar by bar out, okay? But staying in the trade this long, especially after it falls back, right, is not doing anything here. That's not a very good thing to do. And then when it tries again here, now you have to really follow, right? You cannot keep giving it room and hoping that it will get somewhere. So definitely big bar stop here. Okay, so wait. Oh. So definitely if your stop is still here at this point, definitely big bar stop here, and possibly even just bar by bar out because of all this chop here. See, it has to go here. It just has to go because it couldn't do it before. Now, make or break, right? That's what you can do. Surviving all of this is great discipline. It shows great patience as well. So it's good experience in that way, definitely. But this is not something that most traders would survive because of this. All right. Okay, very well. Lauren saying, could this also be a time stop? Yes, it could be a time, but you're already on a pivot stop here, right? So I don't really see a time stop is not going to help you, because you need like 10 to 12 bars before you can apply a time stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, and here it starts moving. So this is the point where you want to get active and move that stop. Okay. All right. Carlos, let's see. I'm 1 hour in the game. Tyler, would you like to take over? Would you like me to go on? Just let me know. Okay. They're all yours, Tyler.
Hey, good job.
All right. Thank you, Jan. Let's see here. How are you guys? Sound check. Hope you can all hear me. I'm going to start projecting. Let's see here. All right, good. Well, we got a holiday here in the United States over the weekend, and we're trying to figure out when to start the next session. What do you guys think? Is Monday too soon? What do you guys think? You think we should just push everyone? I mean, we haven't been good at. It's funny. The coaches are all like, maybe we got to put it off and start it on Wednesday just because of the holiday, and people are like cleaning up their living rooms or whatever. Yeah, to say Tuesday. All right, maybe we'll start Wednesday, and maybe we'll put in a second one on Friday or something like that, just to make it work. Now let's see. Also, a number of you are new to the group, right? And we really appreciate it when you guys give us feedback, and especially if this has really helped you, if this has improved your, given you something. If this is something that's really changing your life, I really want you to tell us about it, and maybe go to the Facebook group and maybe post something there, or send us an email. If you have criticisms or things you need us to make better, feel free to send us that as well. Send us an email. We're trying to build a community here. We want the traders who are commenting in that to, the ones that are in our the Facebook group. That's where we do a lot of our advertising, right? Is I think that's where a lot of you saw this. Also, that you might have been sent an email or something like that, but you realize that this is only for IFT traders, right? This whole thing is just for IFT traders. So we're trying to reach out to the people in the group that need this kind of a help. And some of you, I've noticed that some of you have made it to the mentorship group, or from the mentorship group, and some of you have even made it onto the black team. And for those that have taken this course and spent a little time with us, now some of you guys, we see you at the Open with Oliver, and that's really great, and I think any of you who would like to consider being part of the black team, and let me tell you, if you just got your keys set up and you're just starting to work through this, it's too soon. You really need to give some time practicing this. Oliver's not teaching the checklist again in the black team. He expects you to be past that at this point. He expects you to be, working through it. So if any of you want to do that, you can email Jim and iFund Traders, and he can tell you what the cost is and all that kind of thing. To be with Oliver every morning is quite a thing for those that want to do that. And this is one of the stepping stones, is to come through the coaching, because he knows that the people that take this step are really trying to learn the methodology, not just buy a course. And he knows that a certain percentage of the people who got in here just wanted to buy a course and just thought they could do this. And he keeps telling you, yeah, the black team is kind of an invitation only, but this is the invitation. It's kind of, he said, you guys can reach out and ask to be part of that. And it is a relatively small group. There's a few of you that we see show up in the morning that, you'll see there's only like 15 or so people usually every morning. So it's not a big group, but you'll get to see some fun stuff in there. And he will be teaching some more, in there. And so I just wanted to throw that out there because this is the last class of this series. That you guys are taking really good steps, but we need you to put some work into this and start to change as a trader. You're here because you should now understand that this is not like, okay, I should just instantly be making millions of dollars. It really doesn't work that way. I mean, now that you see what it takes to get good at this, to master this, the fact that it's a numbers game. Everybody who you see out there whining and saying this doesn't work and blah, 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 what do they not understand? They don't understand how much practice it takes. They don't understand that this is a numbers game. Anyone who comes at you with like absolute certainty about their method, I guarantee is a losing trader in the background. No matter what their criticisms and all the other stuff of everybody else, I'm telling you, they are not a process trader. And you can tell because they're not talking about statistics. They act, people who act like there's some way to just, they kind of, Monday night quarterback. I mean, just like you can go back and find all the reasons why something didn't work after the fact, but in the moment, does that mean that they're there? Who knows? Nobody has access to anyone else's records, and don't ask for them, right? It's your own business. The only person who needs to know what anyone's records are is Oliver, right? And he knows which ones are getting there and which ones aren't. And, I'm just saying this because everybody here should know now that, like, this is an honest process. And you're going to do the work, and you shouldn't even want something that you haven't earned. Like, you will know when you have earned this, right? You will know when you've done the statistics and you know your numbers, right? That's something where you're going to have a confidence based on a scientific process, right? So, I mean, do you have any questions about what I'm saying? Does this make sense to you guys? Does that make sense? Any questions? Like, you can get there, but you got to give yourself the time. You got to do the work. You got to do the studying. It's not looking for absolute certainty. It's looking for probability. It's like you have to, okay, good. I'm glad, right? Good. The most important thing is to know that you're not ready. Like, that is when you're starting to be honest with this process and honest with yourself. And like, you could have a good month and be all excited to get live, and then I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. Second you get live, what's going to happen? I mean, you all know it. What's going to happen? Yeah. Right? The second you go live, what's going to happen? There's going to be a time, though, when you know that what you do has numbers, right? Yeah, I hear you, Patrick. And don't even worry about it. Like, you're just going to learn how to be less on the red team and less on the red team, right? And you're going to start to figure out different market environments. Things that worked last month don't work anymore, right? The market will be in an uptrend for ages, and then it goes sideways, and suddenly your numbers don't work, or it starts to downtrend, and nobody knows how to trade it. Like, do you guys understand that, like, there are a number of people, if you go on YouTube, there's like a bazillion people teaching courses who look like they're 25 and are not even old enough to have lived through a bear market? Like, isn't that ridiculous? Like, you're gonna spend thousands of dollars on a person. Yeah, 12, right? You spend thousands of dollars on a person who acts like an old veteran when, like, they've never even had like a market where, Oliver talks about, like, bear market crashes that he's lived through, and then like times where the market people have so written off the stock market that it's basically flatlined, and the profits he was making was like on Citigroup on like a 3-cent move or a 5-cent move during the day, right? It's crazy, right? And so anyway, that's my little speech. I just want you guys to know what you're part of now, right? And to work and be productive. Like, You can have certainty about methodology and certainty about statistics, but does any trade have any certainty? No, it owes you nothing. This is about probability, right? And so I think the best traders go, well, I just took the signal that was there, and it's going to be added to my list of ones that didn't work if it stops, and if it goes, I just have to let it play out. And that's the important part, is you're learning that you can't care about what this trade does. The only thing you should care about is whether it was one of the ones that matches the criteria that we're looking for, right? So yes, and being part of this group, you get to go through a lot of trades and see it again and see it again and see it again. So, and I will say that, like, one of the unique things about this particular group is we get to keep going through the journaling, which is something that in mentorship, you go through today's trades and what you're doing today. And this is where we actually go, well, are you doing the work? Have you made the journals? Are you journaling it correctly? Are you taking the entries correctly? This is a little different, right? So, and Patrick's asking, how come the trading taught here is different than the way it is taught in the equity trading room? Look, things serve a different purpose. If you are just learning what a trend is and what a VBS is and how to push your buttons and that kind of a thing, what to look for at the open, what's a gap, what is it, that's a particular level. And I shouldn't downplay it. Dan is a fantastic trader. Dan is excellent, right? And he is giving you what he does, right? Which all came from Oliver, right? He sat next to Oliver. He wanted to learn these things, and he developed his own style out of it that has to do with certain things that he sees every day, right? All of that he learned was before Oliver developed this checklist and put it into writing and codified it in the way that it is. Because that, I believe, came out 5 or 6 years ago, where Oliver said, okay, I've got a plan for you. It's called the checklist. This is how it works. It all fits on one page. Most people's trading plans are 50 pages long. I'm joking about that a little bit, but they're very long, and it's just hard to figure out what you're doing. He says, you need to just, and this is really brilliant. I look at this checklist and go, I could have spent my whole life and never would have come up with something like this. And part of the reason is everybody's ego wants to find some kind of certainty, and the purpose of the checklist is to get you out of the way, identify events with good supporting locations, and make you stay in it just in case this is one of the ones that is a home run, right? And if you're able to do that, you're going to have the tools to be a big trader. And when I say that, it's like, look, big traders are not the guys who just kind of like take a little entry here and make some money here and make some money here. That's not a big trader. Like, a big trader is somebody who can enter here and like get in with 100,000 shares, but not all at once, and like sit through until this ends up way down here, like that's the monster, right? That's way bigger than what Oliver even does. But he says, I want you to be able to do that at some point, but you're going to have to work up to that. Right now it's 200 shares, take off 100, maybe add 100, take off 100. See, it's going to be a lot different, right, in the beginning. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily a great chart for that or anything like that, but he wants you to be able to get there, but you've got to be able to sit through. And you've got to, when something races against you or rips against you, well, let's say you're in a short and you got your entry down here and it rips against you. When you're really big, you're going to be adding. You're going to be adding more, and then you're going to be adding huge. And then this jump to maybe 50% is going to be a hugely profitable trade. That's what a market maker does. You know, I mean, that's the future of like what you could be doing. You know, this is the 100,000 share mark up here. And you're getting out here, but maybe you were 5 here, maybe you were 20 here, maybe you were 40 here, and maybe this was, you know, 100K. And then you're just, the second you get to break even, you just have layers and layers and layers and layers of entries, you know, to get you out. You know, you come back up, you're adding. Comes back down, you're getting out. So you're able to move your average price around, right? It's crazy, right? Dennis, no, none of us know. Like, we're not allowed to talk to other traders about their stuff, right? Yeah, you need to hear it over and over again, and that's why I think it's good to put it at the end of the course. Like one of the things, once you go live, you get something that says, you know, do not talk about Fight Club, right? That's and why is that? Because everybody makes some big political thing out of something that's very personal, right? And like, what happens if you start bragging and blah, 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 you know, and then start having to show your results all the time? I'm telling you, not many people have the nerves to hold that together. Right? I'm not going to talk about my trading. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to put all my stuff up there, and then like it gets me off game, right? Jan's not going to talk about it. You know, Tony sometimes will go through some of his trades. I'm not really comfortable doing that. You know, if you see any screen that comes up in front of you, it's not going to be a live account. It's going to be a practice account. Those are the rules that have been given to all of us. There's a few people that Oliver will let us, you know, play with that stuff, but we're not supposed to be doing that because everybody is trying to. All it does is feed this monster of people that get their attention off of the process. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't take your attention off of the process. If this trade loses, who cares? In the millions of trades that you're going to take, right? But, you know, being a process trader means your ego's out of the way. Maybe this one goes, maybe it doesn't. And then something happens when, you know, you become a master where, like, even your screw-ups seem to go in the right direction. And Oliver talks about this, maybe more in the black team or in mentorship. But he's like, when you just start getting things right, like it can go really, really right for you. And then when it goes wrong, you got to have, you know, things put in place. So there's a lot of things that have to be fixed. That's all I have to say. You know, and a lot of market environments you have to live through. You have to start to learn to see things from a bigger picture, and you know, so we're here to get you started on that. We're not even the finishing product, right? We're trying to get you taking the right entries. Later, you might see other reasons why, you know, for things that'll help increase the odds of those following through. But even then, it's just odds. It's still not going to follow through sometime. And you have to go, well, you know, good thing I stayed within my risk amount, right? So lots of things, lots of errors to get rid of, right? And at least now you have a process for eliminating those errors. Because I think if you're left to yourself, you could imagine these things, but will you, right? Will you be scientific about it? So let's move on here, and let's look at Carlos's trade here. Carlos was playing Uber, shorted a couple lots right here. Looks like we had I believe we had a stop up above the high, max loss per trade. Yeah, okay. So, you know, good 50-cent risk. I love this pullback inside the, right? So we made it from here all the way down to here. Notice that we're just under the resistance, and we added a lot right here. And as long as that fits your max loss per trade, this is your first pullback. It's beautiful, right? Now, if this is a first pullback, I disagree with this. Break even because of strong pullback. I really disagree with this one, Carlos, right? And you're right. You're right. You're there, Carlos, right? So when a pullback looks strong and it's just bar 2 or 3 and you're right next to the shadow of this thing, you really got to give it the benefit of the doubt. I know you got in with you got a tiny profit there, but like this is your 50% mark. Yeah, this looks strong, but this was like, who was the bigger fish? This one or this one? I know this one looks a little nasty, but like you got the 50% entry. This is your profit take. One lot's got to come off. Stop can move to here because technically you have a pullback. This is a pullback. I know it's only 2 bars. It's not quite the same, but yeah, that violent move back into this first thing, that is technically your first pullback. This is more black team stuff. That is a mandatory profit take. This is your whale complete down here. Now you got this mess here, 20 MA catches. If you want, you could add, and this would be another profit take, right? So you're saying what event? Yeah, it does say hidden green bar ignored here. I think that's a little unclear. This is actually, yeah, I think you could call that. It's not technically a green bar ignored because a green bar ignored would be inside a down movement, right? This is actually a turning. It's a changing of directions here. This is kind of a pyramid entry, to be honest. So guys, a pyramid entry, which is not something that you've learned, would be like, okay, here's your elephant bar, right? And a pyramid entry would start at 50%, and then there'd be another one here, and a really big one here, and then stop above the high, right? And so if you get an immediate pullback into this, Oliver's already got his order set. And they're more like this. It's just like he can press a button that has this like set up. Right? And so wherever it reverses, boom, and then he's got his sell orders and they're already here. Like he's just got them set. So when something goes down, it's already filled, right? So yeah, so Carlos is getting this kind of from the black team, right? And this is a play we would do, is that something, massive move down, he's already drawn it in, 50%. I do this too. I have an order just sitting here on an explosive move back up because it just isn't likely to go straight through the top. And sometimes it'll burn you. Sometimes it will get you. But, that's why I would be smaller right here, and then I'll be adding in, and that's not what you guys have learned on the checklist. Not a checklist trade. That's not a checklist add because this is not technically the pullback that you want, because it's not a 3 to 5 bar pullback. This is more like a series of higher lows and, the takeout of green and something like that. You could take that and, your stop would still be up here. And then whale complete down here. Right. So, but, so yeah, it's the blacklist trade. So yeah, and Carlos, feel free to ask those questions in the black team room and just say, because I notice he hasn't been talking as much about that, but just say, hey, I'm new to this team. Can you go through some of the newer concepts? Feel free to ask those questions and he'll review it. I think he wakes up and gets going and just does his thing and kind of forgets that some of you guys are new. And I'm going to tell you here that you can push him to explain certain concepts if you don't recognize them. Okay, Yeah, great stuff. Yeah. Feel free to speak up. Now, you kept one on here though, didn't you? You didn't close the whole trade. And you kept one on and you made it down here. That's the good news, right? And I get lightening up. I mean, so if you're doing, last on, first off, then you can say, well, you took this for a quick little profit. You kept this, although you took one of them off, and then this first one made it all the way down to this whale complete. And I think that would be a cool way to represent that if that's actually how you did it. But you guys can see this, right? Strong move down, whale complete, another pullback, another whale complete, and I think this is kind of the end of the trade here when this new low starts getting hammered. I think anything that's still on, you go, nah, this isn't the, you have the right to close it there, and you also have the obligation to leave a lot on there and trail it out more. But once you get whale complete, right? Boom, pullback, new low. You have the right to close the trade if you think, if you're doing this boss style, right? You understand that boss style. If you're doing the course that's known as Trading the Open Like a Boss, after the first whale complete, you're saying that I'm done. I've done my 30 minutes today. Today is over, right? And that's a cool way to trade. I don't have, I'm a very busy guy. I really don't get to trade the afternoons and all that kind of stuff very often. So for me, if I'm done in the first hour, that's ideal. And when you're kind of like that, this is where a trade ends. I can't sit till noon or 1 o'clock or something like that. I gotta take care of the little one. I got dancers coming for classes. I got another job that I do. I'm a busy guy. So, and then there are other people who can wait all day long, right? I don't tend to keep one lot all day. That's not, when I can, I might do that, but that's not often the case, right? So I better get moving along here. I see that Carlos sent us a second one, and I think this is just talking through maybe ideally how he would have liked to have done this, right? And definitely this is where one lot needs to come off. I don't know about the break-even stop there. I think it's fine to just move it to this pivot high, right? I don't think it should get above this once you've got down here. And then another, stop out here, bar by bar at the low. That's what we just talked about. So thanks for sending that one in, because it's great, fabulous 4. You got the red movement on the beginning, and then it turned into kind of a messier trade that actually is a whale complete by the end of it, right? So let's take a look at what Gurmeet sent us here. All right, so Gurmeet, I have a question for you, because it looks like your entry was here. Why not here? Why not on the confirmation? You're welcome, Carlos. Just late? Okay. I think some of you, yeah, and you wrote it's your worst trade, and some of you just got to make sure that these late entries, just get out of them immediately. I want you to just say to yourself, late entries or no entries at all. They just I'll tell you where the entry is for this. It's right here, right? That's where you have your elephant bar. It's anticipatory, sure, all that kind of thing. Low risk. You get a pullback. It holds. Probably add here, profit take new high, get 2/3 of it off, and then this will probably trail out. You'll get down here, and then maybe this will stop you, and if it doesn't, you'll probably get out 50%, saying, I don't like this red movement. Do you see what I'm saying there? Late entries cause you to miss stuff that is like somebody else's profit take is like where you're getting in, right? Can you see that? Like if you look at this 3-bar movement here, what did that actually do? It did a move up. It did a pullback that was almost 100%, but not 100%. It made a new high, and then the rest was like this, right? So if that's what these bars inside this square mean, right? That's really what this means, right? So this is that. It was an initial move up, pullback, new high, and then it fell off a cliff. Right, that's why it's your worst trade. Yeah, I understand. But I just want everyone to see this, that like entry here, add here near the stop, profit take somewhere along this thing, be out. This is how this can be a profitable trade here. Even though it rolled over, even though it rolled over, versus, this is where the entry was taken, right? So I like the wipe out of red and all that kind of stuff. It's just sometimes when you get into things late, what you're doing is you're entering where other people are getting out. And so, and I see that, you added in here and all that kind of stuff, but, you're adding to lower pivots and, maybe you're just trying something. The issue is this. If you're going to just let this make pullbacks on you, your stop has to be below all of this. I'm not even saying that this trade is necessarily a loser. It's just, if you're going to do that, it's like you put on one lot here, and now that we're lower, you could put on another lot here. Now that we're at a higher low and a 180, you put on another lot here, and now this is actually a profitable trade. But can you really sit through all of that and maintain your max loss? Not if it's $70, right? But if you had a $200 max loss or something, that's what I'm saying is like, you can get into this and have a $20 risk or a $40 risk. That's not bad at all. It's just if we're using a max loss per trade stop, which allows us to give this the room to do this and maybe, get out over here or something like that, or hold on and see if later on it, moves to new highs. You've got to be like very patient. So this is the wait all day trader and just kind of like pick and choose. And I have to say this, don't start like adding at the same price, right? So let's say you do an ad here and you do another ad here, and then maybe above this little tail you add here. Look at this, you're just getting big, right, at the same price. So when you do an ad, don't allow yourself to add again at the same price. All you're doing is taking this max loss per trade. Now it's creeping up here, and now it's creeping up here, and now it's creeping up here. And then what happens? You get stopped out right where it takes off. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you guys? And I'm not even saying that you would be in this because this would have pivot stopped you out. But there's a way to do this, and it's like, if I'm going to do an ad here and I have a max loss per trade, I'm just going to say, well, maybe if it gets 20 cents below or something. Now that ad I kind of like because it has space below the 20. It is above the 200. I might put in one more right here, but if I do another ad, I'm just having something run against me before it goes anywhere, right? You wouldn't necessarily do this, would you? Because this is left side entering of a trade. But if we're doing a double dip, your ads, I would say never. You're not going to add more than 2 times, right? And if you do that, I think it's more than double dipping against you, right? And maybe this is an advanced concept, but like sometimes the first one, like, do I want to, if I'm going to add here, that's if I'm going to add here, because you have the right to say I'm going to be a little more patient when you have this violent red against you. You might say, look, that's violent red. I'm going to be patient on my add. But because my max loss per trade is down here, I'm not giving up yet. We're still in the top half. And you might say, well, I'll add here, right? And just get out, you know, because the thing's kind of falling apart, right? You're just getting lower highs and all that sort of thing. Like the ones where you want to hang on are not the ones that with a few bars after a violent red are popping up into the shadow. You see what I'm saying? You can add here if your intention is to just be getting out. You know, you might even leave one on, but take out 2/3 when you're back at break even, because the odds of the play have now turned to down, right? So when you add, you're looking to get out, right? But if you're going to add into the shadow of a violent red, you're probably just going to end up getting out unless you get an explosion to the upside. And if it's not an explosion, just say pass. The ones that are going like this are not the ones, you know, I don't want to wait all morning. And that's me. I've seen a number of things that start with violent red and then they peter out, and when they get away from the violent red, right, away from it, now probability of it going up is better, right? And I have to say, this has been a weird market where things, you know, when Oliver's been saying down is up, he means that things that sell like this, still you buy here and it makes a new high. It's not supposed to do that. But, you know, in the last year, since COVID and since the Fed's been buying everything in sight, you're getting this. It didn't used to work that way. Yeah, I mean, it's a new trap zone, Dennis. The trap zone is now this. It's between here and here. So when you get that violent red move down, now it's going to meander, and then maybe a double bottom will send it back up, you know, but it's just, is it going to trend forever? Not until it clears all this mess. See what I'm saying? This has become a wide trap zone. Think of it. So now take your Fabulous 4. Once this violent red happens, now what do we have? We have this trap zone. Is this a wide state? Yes or no? So once we have this solid red, you make this the new trap zone for the day. Is this wide? And, you know, I would say yes. Now it is. And now the likelihood is some ping pong here before it sorts itself out. It's when you have it wide and then you have a strong move, now the probability is it just wants to find its way back to the 200 or something like that, right? And it didn't even make it to the 200, but it's just like you don't want a new trap zone, right? You don't want a new trap zone, and that's why we don't like this when the most recent thing is this violent red bar. So maybe we add and get out. Maybe we don't add and say, if we give time, then this will get chewed up. What I don't like about it, though, is this. It's just not narrow, really. I mean, for XOM, I think, you know, when you add this here, now we've just got this big zone. So, and if this had been something else, if this had been like a bunch of smaller bars, it might tell a different story when green takes out red, right? It might be able to go up, but it didn't. It kind of started with some violence and said, we're going to just ping pong here. So I don't know. I think it's just a way to look at this. It doesn't have any certainty. You still have to follow the checklist. You still have to do what it does there. But if you're like, no, this is going to hold, I want to give this time to fall back into the support area, I'm going to keep my max loss per trade. I'm going to wait to add somewhere in here, keep my max loss per trade, then maybe you don't add right here. Maybe you wait for this to get some time, you know. Maybe you add here, right? And then you can come back up. So, you know, and I'm only saying this because like on a 5-minute chart, this is probably a really decent entry, you know, somewhere. And, you know, maybe that happened later on in the day. It's just like, if I'm going to do an entry here, is this boss method trading? Or is this more like the checklist, or more like mentorship trading where you want to sit through? Yeah, the boss trade, you know, is like boom, add, profit taken out, and maybe on this bar you close it and you just say, well, you know, it's a quick profit now. But there's somewhere it's just like, no, I don't add inside this violence. Okay, here's a double bottom. Here's a, you know, 180. I'll do a little add here and then see, and then you've really got to sit through this pullback even and give this time. Like, you see that this is like waiting for a much bigger fish to come along. It goes into the afternoon and all that sort of thing. Like that's 11:46. I mean, that's for the ones who can sit through this whole mess, leave their max loss per trade. Because, right, does this make, it's making little pivots here, but does any of it ever get 75% of the way back up? The answer is no. That's why I'm saying that, like, it's kind of making its double dip thing, but it hasn't really, it hasn't told you to move this stop up yet. So you can say, I'm going to let this mess around until, you know, we go, all right, now this is an area where if we kind of take off, now I can move the stop up to here. And, you know, when we get up here, now the stop can move up to here. And now we can see what I'm saying, guys? Like, this is like where if you learn to be really patient and just trust this, like you know, you might get something that actually makes a series of downward pivots, and, you know, and yeah, double loss of color and all that kind of stuff will get you out of all this, like way before that. But if you're really believing in your max loss per trade and you just like say, I'm going in with one lot right here and I'm going to see if this all holds, and maybe I'll add when like double bottoms put in or something like that, you might catch one of these big things. And if you're able to sit through this mess and get there, I'm telling you, you're going to learn some stuff. But I also agree that the checklist will probably take you out of this one, right? So, you know, because we don't really get 75% of the way to the top, but, you know, I can see once we get a new high here that your stop comes up. And now here's your 1 bar break. This moves up, and here's your 2nd bar break. And this is the real stop on the checklist. You know, but, you know, if you're keeping it small, you might say, I'm going to wait for this to, you know, I'm just gonna see if this holds, right? And I think you can do that with this trade. I'm only pointing this out. I'm not saying that this is what the checklist is going to let you do, but I'm like, you have room to just be small and be patient and let things form and go, okay, this looks like a higher low. Now I've got, you know, a two pivot low situation that I can let, you know, take off. And so I don't know, was this analysis, did I just confuse everybody? Maybe I did, but I'm just, you know, I want you guys to like, yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry if that was confusing. I'm just saying that, like, I want you to see that, like, the power of max loss per trade and the power of this whole thing right here for those that can really let this do its work. This is the place where that started to hold. And you don't know where it's going to start to hold. I would expect it to get down to the 200. It didn't even get there, which is interesting. But if you were to look at this on a 15-minute chart or something like that, it may not seem so antagonistic. It's just, you're going, oh, I'm seeing red bars, which is true. But again, the checklist will have you out probably right here, right? Boom. Why? Because this is a 1-bar break right here. This is the 2-bar break. And the violence might have you getting most of your lots off at break even, right? Yes, I see that in Gurmeet's trade, this was an event stop. And so the event stop would just be, actually the event stop would be right here, wouldn't it? It would be the 1-bar break. I'm saying that Gurmeet's stop, yes, it's only event stop because his max loss per trade is 70. And I think that's really low. I think your max loss per trade's got to be at least $100. It should be way down here. So I think most people would do that way down here, and then it would have room to mess around and hopefully get back up there. So yeah, and that probably was confusing, but but I'm just saying that, like, if you really look, like here's a short right here, for example. And, yeah, somebody added here and then got out here at the stop level and all that kind of thing. But if you really look at the high of this whole thing, this is the real high of the day. Even amongst all this powerful movement, it still ends up back down at the low of the day. It can. Why? Well, here's the prior area of trouble. And there it is again, right? So that's the prior area of trouble. Like, it sold in this place before, it sold again right here, it sold again right here. Like, these things hold up, and this is what these people that are talking about 15-minute charts and drawing a million lines and all that other kind of stuff, that's what they're saying, is that, like, but I think the checklist allows you to take better targets. So you short here, which is into a trap zone, so we want to be careful about that. And then you profit take at new lows. I think that has much better odds, right? Now, let's look at this trade from Nias, right? So looks like there was a long, right? It was a great position, got in long, and just took the event stop right here, right? It went the other way, stopped, fell hard. And I think Nias saw the violence here, and even though we're in a trap zone, just said, this thing is falling out of the sky, I'm just jumping in, and jumped into violence in a place that the location's going to have some trouble, right? And I don't agree with this event stop. This is the stop for this entry, right? I see what you're doing, trying to make it here, but when your event is bar 2, this event is not the entry. You guys get this? So here's a topping tail, and then here's a bear elephant bar, and you enter in the bear elephant bar. This is not the stop. Do you guys understand that? This is not the stop for this entry. This was the event, right? This was the event that started the bearish movement. That's the correct stop. Your entry has to be here. If you enter in here, you've just got to give it a wider stop. And what does that mean? You might have to do fewer lots, you know, right? The correct, and so do you want to enter here? I wouldn't. I know it looks violent, but I just right into this. Out of 10 times, 9 times that'll fail, right? Entering in there. Now it does clear down here, but I do expect a bounce, and the stop has to be above the high. And then what does it do? It goes a little further, comes back up, and then boom, it makes a new low, right? So Diaz took a profit right here. I would think 2 pushes is down here somewhere. I would think this is a mandatory add when red takes out the green body. And then I would expect a new low. And when this bar closes at its low, my profit take has to be in the next bar. It would have to be in here, right? And then this one, I would big bar stop adjust. That's a lot to give back. That's a lot to give back. So I think it would sell here, and I would not want to give all of that back. So you know, and this is a correct stop right here. You know, it just you know, I don't like this ad. I don't like this ad. It's late. This is the ad. It's the wipeout of green, right? And I don't like the failed new low, however. There's something about this that would have me really questioning this play at that point. But here's the correct stop. It's just the erase. Like, here's your pivot. You get 75%, and then the 2 bar break is this right here, right? Where would I put the big bar stop? Well, here's the big bar, right? So if I'm taking profits here, I would say I'm not going to do, you know, and then, you know, so my stop would be right here. That's pretty much it. Everything inside of it I would leave alone. Technically, this is your first ad, so I would be taking profits here, and I would not be adding again. I don't think I'd be adding right here, because it's just like way down. But you know, you do have some choice. You are allowed to put one back on. I would just say I wouldn't let that lot turn into a big loser. So I would think there's a real problem. See, these, you know, I think in the black team, Oliver would say that this is a sign that something's wrong, and that maybe you're not going to get new lows. And so that's why there's a lot of profit taking in there. That's more advanced. It's not part of your checklist, but that's in the future. So I'm going to move on from this one, but right. So get that 1 point. Your event stop has to be from the first bar, from the correct one. It can't be on the one that you entered that's bar 2 or 3 in the series. It can't work like that. So Vladimir, here we go. I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to hand you guys over to Tony. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I realize I probably really screwed you up on that last one a couple trades ago when I was talking about that max loss per trade stuff. But just stick to the checklist, right? Don't let me. I'm giving you some of the things to observe, but.
Hey, good job.
All right. So here's your entry down here. A little bit late, right? The entry should be like right below here. I think this tail is a really good indication that, like, once it goes up and it comes back down through this price, you can say follow through as expected, and I wouldn't want to miss. It looks like, you know, 52.07 or something like that over here, right? I wouldn't want to miss getting that price. Having said that, have we cleared this zone? Well, the answer is no. We haven't really cleared it. And here's the thing, guys. You got your trap zone or your fabulous 4. A move starts here at the top and comes down like this and just sells all the way through it. I want you to just eliminate anything where it opens at the top of your zone and then closes at the bottom of the zone and then maybe has a tiny follow through. Just forget about those. Like that will pokey you out day after day, right? And then this thing, what'll it do? It'll go right back to the top of the trap zone. It's where this opens. It's where your bear elephant bar opens. Is it just opening? Yeah, this one opens at the 200 and sells to the bottom of the trap zone. That's not what you're looking for. It just rushes 50 cents. Like this is UAL too. UAL is not, moving $5 in a day. It has some good days, but it's a $50 stock. And you've moved 50 cents right into the bottom of the trap zone, and then it comes back out. I really think about how you categorize that play, right? You're making your folders plus position, minus position, igniting off the 200, but like this would go in the trap zone folder, right? And the trap zone folder is going to be filled with a lot of trades that work out like this. So I'm actually glad you shared this one, Vladimir, because it has it's good that you're taking these, right? It's good that you're taking these trades so that we can get this situation out of your vocabulary, right? Just eliminate these so that we don't. Nice. Yeah, right. We can get these out of there, right? The ones that open in your trap zone and seem to have a perfect bar, but don't really clear. And even when they follow through, it's like that follow through bar is the one that gets wiped out and just goes some other place. So it's good. We're dealing with the trap zone, right? We're dealing with these trap zone plays. And I love that we're getting ones that show us exactly what the trap zone does and why we're not big fans, right? So but I should be handing you over to Tony here. Are you about ready to go, Tony? Let's see, whose trade is this? Okay. Take one more. Okay. And let's see. No, that's good, Vladimir. Yeah, I see. You would think that. So I can't tell whose trade this is, but I'm glad this is somebody who's in the first. Oh, Cynthia. Okay, good job. First month, excellent job. And this is a Forex trade, right? So interesting, right? Here's the new day start. Boom. Here's the London Open. So now let's see where your entry was. 0.35 lots. I like this. Clearing bar, stop loss. You left it alone. All right. So, and then, I think it's okay to just leave your stop right there because you did clear the last 20 bars. No, nice job. And you left your stop. And let's see, max loss per trade is $50. This is interesting. And you're saying, is this a lower Fabulous 4 box, because of the London entry? So you're taking that as like the real open for the day is right here. And, is this the new Fabulous 4? Well, the Fabulous 4 still goes all the way back up to the 200. And so I think for your risk amount, like, it is true that the stops are, like, there's a whole bunch of stops right here, but there's also still resistance up in this zone, There's still a lot of resistance up in this zone. But if this was your initial stop, you just keep that. I do think that once you get here, now your stop, according to the checklist, has to be here. And forget about all the other stuff about when London opens and all that other thing. It now has to be, right? Because we got a new low. And I think technically, if we're honest, we have a time stop right here. So the trade could be stopped right here. But I understand everybody went to sleep. You woke up. Here's London. You're still in the trade. And now I don't understand this. No ad used max lot size. I think if your stop comes down to here, you might be able to afford this ad, and you might be able to do this, Cynthia. You can add right here and stop only that one lot to the green, right? So you still keep your stop loss up here because this should have moved here by the time that we get a new low. By the time we get down here, right, your stop should be up here on that first entry. Now we take the green bar ignored, and what you do is if you can make this like a separate trade and put the stop above there, right? And I love the profit takes here, Now, I think technically this bar is big enough to call that 2 pushes. And I love that you got another one off here and another one off here. That's really great. And then beautiful add, right? Profit take, stop adjust, right? So stop adjust when you got down in here, this should have come down to here. You add here. When you get to this new low area, well, actually when you get to 75%, which is right here, now the stop can move down here, right? I would say this. When we start getting here, what's happening, Cynthia? What kind of a movement is that? Yes. And so how do we, and I see that you took the break of the 8 MA, right? And I would call this power bar, this green bar, that is, to me, that is a 2-bar break. Here's 1 bar, and then here's 2 bars, right? So you see that this bar is like 2 bars. I would call that a 2-bar break of the 8. And so I think you did a great job trailing that out there. I don't think that you need to do this, and I don't think you need to do this. And the reason is that we've got, here's 1 GBI, here's 2 GBIs, we've got a power trend, we're just going to let it go. And then it all comes out in here, right? See what I'm saying? So, because you don't know how far this is going to go, but once you recognize power trend, it's time to let it go. Now, how do you know something's a power trend? Well, you get a couple of these GBIs, you get the 8 MA close to you, and notice how this bar is trading inside the range of other bars, right? Right? And this bar is trading inside the range of other bars. And this bar is trading inside. And this bar is trading inside. It is creeping down, but you're going to see that like this bar is trading inside the range of this bar. And this bar is trading inside the range of those bars. You see, that's how a power trend works. You get a bunch of bars. They're not going sequentially. You are getting lower lows, but the way it's doing it is you'll have like a fall like this, and then you'll have something here, and then you'll have another one here, and then another one down here, and then you'll have a bar like this and something like that, and that's what it really does. It doesn't precisely move sequentially. So once you know that you have that, there's only one thing you can do. No more profit takes. You just trail it out to the end, because it could go, it can go a long way beyond where you think it's going to end, but you don't get to decide. So thanks for sending that one. That's really cool, actually. I'm glad to see that might even be our first Forex trade. And I like what you did with that. You filled in a box, you noticed it, and then when this started picking up momentum, right, you took the right actions. So I hope this was helpful for you. Can you add during the power trend? Let's say this. If a power trend is beginning and you recognize it by a couple of GBIs or RBIs, you can take the first or second RBI, GBI. Don't start adding in the third, fourth, fifth, all that kind of. Now you're definitely late in the move, right? Don't add 2/3 of the way towards the end because you're at the fourth GBI or something, right? You see that? You only get so many of these, right? You get 1, you get 2, you get 3, you get 4, right? And if you're trying to add in this one, you're going to get, even if you add it in this one, it's going to get stopped out, right? So that's what I think you got to be careful of with these power trends if you're going to go adding into them. So anyway, hope that was helpful. You guys have done fantastic work this month. It's been exciting working with you guys. The ones that keep coming back, you guys are killing it. And hope to see you guys in July. So I'm going to hand you over to Tony here, if he's ready to go. And please, write something for us if you like.
Hey, good job.
And keep up the good work. Yeah. You guys are doing fantastic.
Sound check.
How you doing, Tony?
3, 4, 5. Going for my sound check. All right. Hope you guys traded good today. Let's see if I can get the hang of putting this monitor. I'm traveling, so I'm on my laptop trying to see how I can do this. All right. I think I got to minimize my screen, make it work. Let's see. Does that look better? Looks good. Okay. All right. So here's the markets today. How I usually like to start, showing you the Dow. You have prior day's close. You have a nice, looks like a bottoming tail, though the tail needs to be 2/3 the size of the body to actually be a bottoming tail, like this tail over here in the NASDAQ. That's a bottoming tail. This is pretty close though. Prior day's open gives you a nice green bar up, right? A bullish elephant bar. Plus area. Has follow through. Goes sideways. Top and tails. More follow through green bars. A ribby. Look at that ribby. Nice ribby here. Follow through. And then turns around. Rolls over on you. There's your bottom and tail. Goes sideways. Pops up. Little ribby. And sideways. So we're up nicely on the Dow. 169 points. All right, the NASDAQ. NASDAQ gaps down. That's a bearish bar with a bottoming tail. It goes sideways and then down. Tries to come up with a ribby. Topping tail. Kind of sideways action here. Finally breaks out a little. Tries to get to the prior day's close and then rolls over again. Sideways, down again. A bearish elephant bar. No follow through. It's kind of going sideways. S&P 500 gives you a nice bull elephant bar to start with. below the prior day's close, right through it, pulls back a nice GIF action going here, right? This would have been a nice whale. Follow through up, starts giving you topping tails. These wicks, topping wicks up here. Time to get out if you're long, because it rolls over around this time. 11 rolled over on you. Went sideways. Gives you a bull 180, but no follow through. Just a few little topping tails, sideways, and then drops. Drops again, back to the prior day's close, breaks through, and you're in the negative territory for today. So here we have the heat map for today. Technologies, kind of neutral. Semis are neutral, except for AMD, right? AMD looks like it's going to hit higher. It's 4.38% up today. I heard some folks saying today may hit 110, 120. I forget which bank thinks it's going higher. MU's up. Xilinx. I played Xilinx today and hit a home run with that one. Did good today on Xilinx. So the rest of the technology is kind of down. The financials, half are up, half are down. These are down. These are up. Right. Drug manufacturer, neutral to up a little. Devices are down. Diagnostics are down. Walmart's up 2.64%. Industrials are up. Aerospace, such. All right. So that's how the market looked today. Let's see how it ends up. Looks like everything's heading down. So the bias would be to short. Okay. Oops, I left this up. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Now, I want to go over power surges again because this is a really great move to know. This is a great trade to know. I mean, if you got your power moves down, you're going to be profitable. You're going to be more consistent. You're going to be more confident. So, very important to learn. And it's Oliver's number one play, right? Okay, we'll talk about the 200 moving average for a minute here. So the 200 moving average is universally watched in all time frames for all practical purposes. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So many people watch, so many people play it that it becomes real, you know. Flatness is king. When you have a flat 200 moving average, that is king for resistance, support. It works really well. It's also like a magnet. It has a tendency to pull the price towards, through it, and then away from it, and then vice versa. Now, for many of you, this could be a repeat that I've gone over the power surges several times. But it's good to hear things over and over. I took Oliver's classes many, many times. And I took the classes on the manual many, many times until I finally drilled the stuff through my thick head. You know, it took me a long time to understand it all well. And I thought I knew when I first started because I was successful in long-term with 401ks and IRAs and stuff. But day trading is a different animal. And it took me a while to get a hang of it. So repetition creates mastery of your skills. So we're trying to build your skills up here. And the only way to do it is to practice a lot. Repetition. You have to gain experience by practicing what you learn, what we teach you, the knowledge that we teach you. And the experience that you build will help your skill levels grow. All right. Your skill levels take small steps up the stairway. And on top of the stairway is the master trader, and that is your goal. And I like to repeat this over and over because people forget their big plans sometimes, and they get bogged down by little mistakes or little errors, or they're in a bad trend or whatever. You know, the big picture is you want to become a master trader. And to do that, you have to take little steps up the stairway of a master trader. So think with the end in mind, right? A master trader takes little steps up the ladder to become a master. Now, to get back to the 200, the flat mighty 200 moving average. Here's an example of support. The price drops down into the mighty 200 moving average zone, right? It bounces back up. And it drops down again to it. The mighty 200 average zone bounces back up. Over here we see resistance. Went up to resistance and then down, but this is the support. So this is a flat 200 moving average. You got support, support. That's how strong it is. Here we show you resistance, right? Power bar goes up, follow through real nice. Poof, the 200. Topping tails hit, comes back. Topping tail hits, bounce back. Topping tail goes through the 200 moving zone, bounces back to the 20. Goes back up to the 200, comes back. So it's in a zone, it's in a channel right here, right? It's in this channel. Keeps hitting the 200 as resistance and comes back down, right? Goes sideways between the 200 and the 20 and then drops. Hits the 200, then finally drops down and continues on. This is how strong the 200 was here. All the traders that were looking at this were all thinking the same thing. 200 is resistance. Every time it hit, it just came back down. All the traders and all the machines trading did the same thing because the machines are programmed by traders. So that's what happened there. Here's another example. You have this bull elephant bar. Big, bad bull elephant bar plus plus. Look how big that thing is, right? For a 25-hour stock, that's huge. You're thinking, whoa, it's going to bust right through the 200 like it did the 20. But no. Comes back, little follow through, and then just rolls over, collapse on you. This is a hard collapse down. Falls down. Skydiving down. Comes back up, breaks through the 20 moving average to the 200, and again, the flat mighty 200 is resistance, brings it back down. All right, comes back up, resistance, brings it back down. So, Oliver's favorite number one play is the power surge originating off the 200 moving average. It's very high probabilities of it working, around 80%. That is very high play. 20% of the time it will not work. And that's where you have to be nimble enough to get out if it's not working. But preferably you'll be in the 80% time where it does work and you will be profitable. So another tool for your toolbox, right? Power surges off the 200. When you see that, you won't have to think. You'll just automatically know because you know them so well, because I've been teaching them to you over and over. Hopefully you memorize this stuff and you'll have it ready. When you see it, you'll react and you know what to do without thinking, right? Remember, this is not rocket science. This is the same thing over and over and over, and it's not complicated. Don't make it complicated. Keep it easy. When you see it, just react to it and know what to do. Okay, here we have two major areas of support. What's the odds in your favor, right? The 200 moving average. I know it's hard to see in this copy, but this was the 200 moving average line, the zone line right in here. And you had a big power surge bar right off of it. Major support, right? So you had the power surge bar that took out the opening bar. It cleared everything, so you had clearance on the left here, right? All the way down. You had this red bar it took out. There's a topping tail you can't see in here. Took that out. And basically took out the Fab 4. This was the Fab 4. And this power surge just took it all out. Right? When you see that, you just got to jump in and go for the ride straight up. Right? That's what you're looking for. Here's another example with QCOM. Right? We have the 200 moving average support down here. You have a power bar. This is a zone, right? So in this zone, you have a power surge. That's the number one play you're looking for. You want to pile in. Depends on how big is your amount of money that you can play, amount of shares you can play. Right? You're going 1 or 2 or 3 shares. But if you have a little more size, you might want to go in medium to heavy. You can go in light at first when you're learning to play these, when you're practicing and learning, getting the hang of it. Then as you get better at it, you go light to medium and then medium to heavy. Make bigger profits. Here's JD. You have a power surge originating near the 200 moving average. This is near. This is not on it exactly. It's a zone. This is the zone, right? It doesn't have to touch it. So you just pile in here, poof, let it rip, potato chip, all the way up to this bare 180, and you're out. This happens fast. You don't stay in this trade all day. You're in and out in 10 minutes, whatever, how long it take to do all this. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes. You're out. You're done. You're profitable. You're consistent. You're confident. You're happy. Here's NVIDIA back in the day when it was $150. Now it's like $800. This is a 200 moving average. It's kind of diagonal here, but you have a power surge off the 200 moving average zone. See this circle here? It's a zone. Power surge up the zone, the 200 moving average zone, taking out this red bar, right? Took this out, kept going, took out the Fab 4, power surged up. So this was like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes out. Power surges, because if you go in heavy, you want to get out fast. You go in light, you can stay in a little longer. Here's another example. I cut off the prices. I made a mistake here. Might have to change this chart in the future. But it is a low price stock. So what I did here was I sorted the IFT 50 by price and went down the list, right? So you put the lower prices starting around $10 or so, and you just go down the list, 10, 11, 12, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever it is. And you can find these power surges off the 200 moving average. Right? Power surge, you're in. You let it go up. Little pullback, up the 8 train. Ribby keeps going up the 8 train. So it breaks it and comes back. It rolls over, you're out. Right? So sometimes you can combine bars right, to get a power surge. Now this didn't happen at the open. This happened, what was it, 10 or something like that, right? You combine all these bars, you combine all this in your mind, you'll see a power surge off the 200 moving average. The ribby keeps going, right? You have to be nimble to get out, or if you hold to this pullback, this is almost a trend change to the 20, so this one would have been good to hold on, but it kept going up. So the origin of this trend was this bull 180, right? Remember I taught you guys that bull 180s has to have a risk reward 2 to 1 from the 20 moving average, and this clearly does, right? That would have been a nice entry here, riding up. It's a 200 moving average, hits resistance, pulls back a little, and then breaks through. Then pulls back to the 200 moving average. What was once resistance now becomes support. So here you have the rising 20 moving average, and this bounces off the 200 moving average. You combine these green bars up, and you have a power surge, right? Here you jump in, you pile in, and go up the A train. That's how you look at these charts. You learn to read them. So here we have a bear power surge, right? A shorting example. You short this one. Here's your Fab 4. You have a bear power surge off the 200 moving average. You anticipate, you get in this bar, and you let it go down. 1, 2 pushes, you're out. You're done. That one was 6 minutes. These are fast trades, these power surges. Now you may not be ready for these, especially if you're brand new, because they're fast. But the more you're exposed to the different tools, the better it is for you. You'll see these one day and you'll practice them and get better at them. Here's a combination bar, right? Because these scenarios are not all going to be perfect scenarios for you. You're going to see different scenarios. This is a different one. It just so happened that yesterday it closed a nice little green bar. So right at the prior day's close, right at the 200 moving average, 20 moving average, 8 moving average, boom, you get a nice little elephant bar power surge in the plus location, right? The location is very critical here, very important. Well, elephant bar, you pile in. It goes sideways on you to the 8 moving average, and then continues to follow through up the 8 moving average. You're riding the 8 train up, pulls away from the 8 a little bit, then it goes sideways closer to the 8 and keeps on going up. Now you get these top and tails neutral bars on top. I'm out. I'm done. See, this is a little longer trade. This is what's the 1 minute chart though. But this could have been a little longer move. Here's a Cisco 180 power surge down right through the 200 moving average. Right? So you have all this prior day's close and the moving average. It just breaks right through all that. This is a hard collapse. Breaks through all the moving averages and continues on down. You pile in, let it go. So here we're combining bars, right? You have a gap up. You have this bar and that bar. It gives you a nice power surge right through the 200 moving average zone, sideways and up. This is power going up. These were a couple of my trades. When I played Zoom, look at this narrow Fab 4. Look at this power surge, right? Piled in. I piled in. This is the 2 minute chart. This is the 1 minute chart. So you could see the dots because they didn't have the dots on the 2 minute. This is where I piled in, right in there. Rode the 8 train up. Started seeing it pulling back on me. It started layering out. Bam. It's starting to get out. You see here my outs. out. Left the last lot for there. A little early, but I was happy with the trade. You have to practice these. Repetitions what creates mastery of your skills. You practice this and you become good at it. There was another one, Zoom again. Yeah, this one was July 7th. This is the 21st day. So you had your Fab 4, a little wider this time, but a couple strong green bars coming up, right? Elephant bars. Pulls all the way back on me. And I'm like, whoa, it's coming back to the support area. So as I was entering here and it's pulling back on me, I entered more because I'm thinking this is support. This is a nice support area right here. Lowered my average price and rode the A train up. As it got back up to this area, I just started peeling out because now I'm fat with profits because I lowered my average price so much that I could ride the A train up to where the previous entries were and be profitable. I just cleared out and out, overshot here. It's done. Okay, so now we have multiple power surges off the 200 moving average. Here's one power surge off the 200 moving average. There's another one. Pulls back, goes back up to it. There's another one right over here. Power surge off the 200 moving average. So what do we have down here? Well, true bull 180 because you had a 2-to-1 win ratio from the 20 moving average, right? 2-to-1 from the 20. This is the origin of this trend up. So this would have been a great entry, riding it all the way to the 200. This would have, I would have been thinking this is resistance. Breaks right through, comes back to it, and then continues its way up with another power trend. That's a bull 180, but there's no, this is already exhausted area. This is the origin, igniting it. This is the exhausted area. So this bull 180, no win ratio in the exhausted area. Nah, you don't play that. You don't play those. Some more examples. There's a power surge with only 2 pushes and you're out. You have to be flexible, right? Nice narrow Fab 4, 200 moving average, bam, power surge up. You pile in, and you see you have 2 pushes and you're starting to see topping tails. When you get 3 topping tails, woof, that's a big red flag telling me, it's time to get out. This thing's going to roll over fast on me. Done. So here's a power surge down. Neutral bars, bear elephant bars, sideways and down. Right? The 200 moving average zone gives you a nice bear elephant bar. And go sideways and down, sideways down. It was, oops. Oh man, not used to this. Sorry. I went too far, guys. Narrow Fab 4, 200 moving average. Power surge, you enter. You pile in here, let it ride up. 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes, you're out. This 180, you're out. All right, so that's a quick little presentation. Now, I want to show you guys some real power surges for today. It's scary to add and violence red bars down. Yeah, it is, but you'll get used to it with practice. All right, so let me pull up this guy. Oh, there's the markets. Look at the markets today. 12 o'clock, they seem to go up, right? They power surged up from the 200 moving average. Oh, no, that's Spotify. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. All right. I'm messing everything up here on this laptop. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Let's look at Spotify. What's it do? The power surge is up today. All right. See this big green bar? Gives you a topping tail, ignore the tail, and you see a ribby continues up the A train straight up. So you get this red bottoming tail and this huge topping tail. Oof, this right here is yelling at me. Get out now. I'm done. I'm out. This one. This power surge would have been nicely profitable and quick. Here we have John Deere. Power surge at noontime off the 200 moving average. You have this bull elephant power surge bar off the 200 moving average zone. Gives you like a ribby. Continues up the A train ribby. Ribby. Up the A train ribby. Then pulls back to the 8 and continues up. Topping tail, you're out. That would have been a great trade, right? It's a perfect roadmap to read this all the way up. And you're out. So there's an example that happened this morning with John Deere. Okay, here's Coors Holdings, right? Narrow Fab 4. Oh, no, it's not Fab 4. This is 1030. Power surge. Big bull elephant bar off the 200 moving average. It is kind of like a Fab 4 later on, though. All right, up the 8 chain, a ribby, right up the 8 chain, big flag, topping tail, you're out. Right, nice profitable. This is a $15, $16 stock. You guys can play this. These are lower price. There's one with a little more higher price. This opens kind of like gives you neutral bar, a nice green bar, a ribby, another nice green bar to the 200. See, the 200 would scare me. I think this would be resistance because it's big top and tail, goes sideways, and then power surges right off the 200. Now you jump in, right? For sure. Pile in, pulls back to the 8, goes up higher, goes sideways, but it's going up the A train. So here, goes back. The moving averages are meeting here, pulls back, bottoming tails, and then right up. That's one would have been more of a challenge. Might have gotten out earlier. So I'm trying to show you real life scenarios that happen. They're all a little different, but power surge is basically the same, right? Here's a power surge right through the Fab 4, right through the trap zone, right off the 200 moving average zone, rising 20 moving average, rising 8. So it's right in the 8 train, goes back to the 8. Look at all these green bars. Right sideways, right up to 8. Ribby, right up to 8. Topping tails, you're out. You're done. Buckle. Apparel store. I never even heard of them. Buckle. Looks like your belt buckle or something. Team. All right. What's team do? Gaps down. Gives you a bearish elephant bar down. Look at that. Here's your Fab 4. Here's a trap zone. Right? You guys need to stay out of the trap zone if you want higher odds. Trades. And I see you guys are going in the trap zone all the time. Try to stay out of them. So this thing opens here and just drops. Gives you a bearish elephant bar down. Kind of goes sideways and drops. right? A little shaky in here. Goes back a little, but continues on down to 8. Moving average. That would have been a nice power surge down. Continues on. This would have been a little trickier, but these are real life scenarios that happened this morning. Creed gaps down. Bearish elephant bar like the other one follows through. 1, 2, 3 bars. Bottoming tail, you're done. Right? Can happen that fast. Gaps down. Bearish elephant bar. Couple bars down. Green bar. Drops again. Pulls back. Drops again. Keeps pulling back and dropping and dropped substantially here. This bottoming tail. Bar from the 20. Starts going back up. Right in the A train up again. Ribbies. So this is how you read these maps. Right? Read these charts. So this has a bull elephant bar, but gives you a nice red bar afterwards, and then it follows through up the A train. So this is a different scenario. You have to be nimble enough to get out fast if it goes against you, but you have to also be able to stay in the trade, get bigger profits to ride the A train up. They're not all going to be picture perfect. They're going to be different. Here's a narrow Fab 4, power surge off the 200 moving average. Pulls back a little, gives you the gift, and then right up the 8 moving average. Right? Keeps on following it up. Here's a nice topping tail. Probably would have got out right there. Lands in. Look at square. Square gap down and drops. Bull elephant bar. Follow through, and you're out. Then it goes sideways, pulls back hard, drops again, sideways. And the rest of it is kind of salt and pepper. This one would be better to get out quick. Affirm gives you a 180 with a power surge up off the 200 moving average around 10:52, almost 11. Then it goes up. The A train, ribby, goes up. Gives you a top of tail, pulls back to almost the 20, right between the 8 and the 20, and then continues. And then you're out with your last lot. Right, AMD. Wow, AMD gaps up, gives you a green bar, and then a bear gives you a bear 180, and then another green bar and follows through up the A train, and then you're out. See, this is real life scenario. Xilinx gaps up, gives you a green, goes back, green. I got in here around 42 something in here. Rode it up and got out at up here. I think it was 54. This area, right? So these are powerful plays. Make you more consistent and make you profitable. BBY, Bed Bath & Beyond. They had earnings yesterday, right? So this thing, narrow Fab 4 gaps up, gives you a power surge. You pile in, then you're riding the 8 train all the way up. Ribby, 8 train, ribby, 8 train. Whoa, look at these topping tails up here. What's this tell you? 3 topping tails. It's telling you, get out. If you're long, get out. Because I'm going to roll over on you, and I'm going to roll you over if you're still in it. So you better get out. You could actually get out and reverse your play and go short here. And go. That would be a successful trade as well. All right. You have to combine these in your mind. They're not all going to be picture perfect, right? 200 moving average zone. Combining all these green bars gives you a nice power surge up. Pulls back. ribby, power surge up. This gives you sideways pullback, power surge up. Right? All these top and tail pull to get out. And let's see, last one. This one, G-Doc. Gives you a top and tail down. Power surge is on down. Here's a 200 moving average. You get a top and tail off that. Right through the fab forward trap zone. Power surge is down. 1, 2, 3 bars down. And you're out. It's had a big pull back to the 20, down. Pull back to the 8, down. You gotta learn to read these. All right. So I think that's about enough for you guys today. Clear this up a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Paola, translating. And thank you all for being here with us this month. I think we had a very good month. I think we were very productive together, and I saw a lot of progress there. So I'm very happy to see that. Hope to see many of you next week when we start the July series on Wednesday. So on Monday there's no session. On Wednesday we start at 12 noon New York time with the first session for July, and we'll let you know when we plan the makeup session for the missing class from next Monday. Okay. In the meantime, I wish all my U.S. friends a very nice Independence Day on the 4th of July and extended into the 5th of July. As a matter of fact, I'm going to celebrate Independence Day here on the beach in Spain with an American friend here, a trader. So we're going to have a good time as well. And we'll think about you guys there. Okay? So have a good trading tomorrow, Friday, and then a nice holiday weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.